You've probably heard of Trump derangement syndrome. Now, you've either heard of it as describing the behavior of people who are pro-Trump or people who are anti-Trump. Now, in both cases, the individuals in question have irrational behavior, as American politics usually does. But there's little doubt in anyone's mind that a great deal of the people who do support Trump hold illusory positions that are usually just very contrarian to whatever it is that Democrats say, even to the point of irrationality, like wanting to get rid of Obamacare and then realizing that Obamacare was the Affordable Health Care Act, not realizing that they were the same thing. But there is actually a physiological basis to this whole phenomenon. Trump has made all kinds of promises. He's told the world that he's going to take America back to the golden age of post-World War II prosperity, which isn't possible. The jobs are going to come back. The tariffs on foreign goods will come on so that people will have to buy American and healthcare for everyone, despite having actually taken healthcare away from people. I mean, he promises you the world. Now, at the same time, he pumps you full of fear. The election steal, the puppet masters in the deep state, the government manipulating events in a big plot against you, the satanic P words of the pizza shop after your kids, working with the gender people or however that particularly works. And on occasion, he has outright endorsed the QAnon basically lunacy and perpetuating the irrational fear behind that whole conspiracy theory nonsense. So what does this all add up to? It adds up to a neurophysiological basis for Trump derangement syndrome. Something immediately significant is the constant mental stress experienced by Trumpers that feel everything is a plot against them. Stress has physiological effects, and this obviously it's nothing new. These are general effects of all systems of the body, including cardiovascular, respiratory, endocrine, gastrointestinal, nervous, muscular, and reproductive systems. The endocrine system increases its production of steroid hormones, which include cortisol, to activate the stress response of the body. But prolonged stress, combined with his false promises, has serious neurophysiological effects. Promises of return to a post-war prosperity which isn't possible, and the eliminating of the so-called woke mobs has a twofold effect of creating fear and instituting a kind of greed. It increases a dopamine action, a neurotransmitter in the nucleus accumbens. This is the reward center in the brain, part of the limbic system, meaning the part that does emotion. The thing about dopamine is that if you don't have enough of it, you get really apathetic and kind of depressed. If you have too much of it on a consistent basis, you get an extremely temperamental attitude, as seen in excess cocaine users. Now, at the same time, he's pushing fear, the worst of the conspiratorial nonsense, not necessarily just the big lie against the plot against the American people, but also some of the QAnon stuff. And if you really do believe these conspiracies, they can be extremely frightening for someone to deal with if they really do believe that they're real. Pushing conspiracy theory nonsense of the most frightening kind, the P-word Satanists, really activates the fear center in the amygdala, the corticotropin-releasing hormone signals. Now, this floods your central nervous system with cortisol. And cortisol is a stress hormone that has the side effect of inhibiting the prefrontal cortex, which is pretty important. It basically does everything: rational thought, personality, intelligence, and decision-making. This is why people in great fear and panic make such obvious mistakes. Long-term exposure to stress and cortisol will literally kill neurons in the prefrontal cortex. This is the basis for PTSD and other traumas. Are you of the opinion that this doesn't work? Now tell that to the masterminds behind the Brexit vote. They deliberately used this as a tactic in 2016 from a Canadian consulting company, AggregateIQ, who created the Ripon platform. This is the data that was later given to Cambridge Analytica to influence the 2016 US presidential election. This dopamine cortisol effect also works its magic on those who hate Trump. Apply it to those who rabidly hate him and have an adverse reaction to hearing anyone say his name, or even hearing his voice. Even these tiny little things can really stir up serious feelings inside of them, really serious neurological reactions, very similar to those who believe the things that Trump are saying. The truth is, it can go both ways, because the human brain isn't limited to how it reacts to stress in that way. Stress is stress. And that's what Trump is bringing with his chaotic style of destabilizing politics. The same reason why the system abhors the idea of him becoming president again. Really, the only solution to put it in a neutral way would be for everyone to remain calm, keep a cool head, focus on what it is that you believe in and what it is that you want for the country, and then vote accordingly. Well, that would be supposedly what bourgeois democracy is all about, and allegedly how it works and allegedly why it works. Now, of course, I would vehemently disagree with that. I would not call bourgeois democracy a democracy at all, which is why I use the word bourgeois before the word democracy. But if you were just trying to understand or like what I'm doing, just getting across the neurophysiological effects of the kind of two-way stress that Trump is putting out there, then this will serve as a basic explanation for that. Now, I'm not suggesting that Trump knows what he's doing. I don't think he realizes that he's doing this. I'm sure he's whipping up his base into a frenzy to get support, and particularly with his recent losses in court. I'm sure that's the case. But I don't think he understands the neurological effects that it's having on his supporters, or the general effect that it's having on the American people. I mean, this is on top of the stress that people already feel every day, with their jobs becoming more difficult, the greater risk of going bankrupt, the greater risk of losing your home, and all the other stresses that people already feel every day, which is going to lead to more and more increasingly irrational actions. And well, things are probably going to get socially a lot worse before they get better. But it is just a little bit important to just understand like what's going on and what's going on in people's heads, and just for everyone to just try to keep a cool head and just make the decisions that you're going to make, but make sure you're making them with a clear and rational thought. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.